Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our next workshop, which is Siri Bengkel Geran. Selamat pagi pada semua. Program akan bermula seketika nanti. Okay. Okay. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera. Good morning to everyone. Selamat datang kepada program Malaysia Siri Bengkel Geran, CRIM. Okay. Kali ini kita akan lihat dari segi dana Malaysia Grand Challenge, Technology Development, Fund 1 and 2. Okay. Jadi kita berbesar hati kerana pada pagi ini yang berbahagia Profesor Madya Dr. Amir Shahir yang juga merupakan panel dana di peringkat Kementerian Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi MOSTI sudi berkongsi sedikit tentang geran ini. Okay. Untuk makluman semua, geran ini dibuka sepanjang tahun. Tiada tarikh tutup, tapi dia ada kitarannya. There is a cycle for this grant. Probably they do like every quarterly. They're gonna have evaluation on that. Okay. And today program will be conducted in bilingual, okay, in BM and BI. So hopefully some of our friends, maybe it's international friends, probably can have some understanding between the BI and PM along together. All right. Before I pass this session to Prof. Madya Dr. Amir, there's some announcement I want to make first. First, pengumuman sesi webinar ini akan dirakam, it will be recorded, okay. And then bagi mengurangkan sebarang gangguan semasa sesi berlangsung, mohon kerjasama, audio mikrofon peserta diletakkan dalam mode mute. Actually, as a host, I already set it as a mute, automatically mute when you log in. Hopefully, we have a less of disturbance when our speaker try to deliver his talk. Okay, soalan boleh diajukan selepas sesi taklimat selesai dengan menggunakan ikon angkat tangan atau di-type dalam kotak bualan webinar. Okay, you can write, you can type your questions at the chat panel there. Okay, and maybe during Q&A session, if allowed, then probably you can ask orally. Okay, pautan untuk maklum balas akan dikongsikan dalam kotak bualan untuk diisi oleh para peserta. So in order to improve our program from time to time, we hope that you can fill up our very quick feedback form for our future program. Okay, so as a Center for Research and Innovation Management for Universiti Teknikal Malaysia Melaka, is also some of our parts actually to serve also not just our university, also to other university in order like giving some sharing session or webinar which is open to all. And thank you to all our friends from other university. I see from the registration we have from UiTM, from UTM, and from Xiamen University, also from UPN. Okay, thank you very much, and other university as well. All right. Before we move to our speakers, let me introduce a bit on our speakers. This is sikit profil penceramah. Itu Profesor Madya Dr. Amir Shahir, merupakan Profesor Madya di Fakulti Bioteknologi dan Sains Biomolekul, Universiti Putra Malaysia. Berkelulusan Dr. Falsafah dari Tokyo Institute of Technology, Jepun. mengetui 10 geran pendidikan bernilai 1.2 juta ringgit, okey, dan sebagai pendidik bersama bagi 7 geran pendidikan yang lain bernilai lebih kurang 1.5 juta ringgit, termasuk 3 geran pendidikan antarabangsa bernilai lebih daripada 15,000 US dollars daripada JASO, dan juga Radiation Effects Research Foundation. Telah memfailkan 8 paten dan 2 daripadanya telah pun diterbitkan, dan terlibat dalam penubuhan syarikat spin-off bernama Nano Arms Sdn Bhd yang terlibat dalam projek pengkomersialan dan juga inovasi. Beliau juga merupakan panel penilai bagi geran di peringkat Kementerian Sains, Teknologi dan Inovasi, dan juga panel pakar bagi Jabatan Standard Malaysia di bawah MOSTI. Okay. Tanpa melengahkan masa lagi, saya dengan segala hormatnya ingin menjemput yang berbahagia Profesor Madya Dr. Amir Shahir untuk meneruskan sesi bengkel pada pagi ini. Selamat pagi Profesor Madya. Amir, boleh dengar ke?
Boleh.
Boleh Okey, saya akan stop sharing. Jadi Prof boleh kongsilah slide Okey, saya akan stop sharing sekarang.
Okay. Thank you so much, our chairman. I would like to Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would thank you so much to CRIM, and thank you so much to UTEM for this invitation. Okay, so I will share my slide. Can you see the slide?
Yeah, very clear. Yeah.
Okay, I will put it in full screen. Wait a second. Slideshow maybe. Okay. All right. All right. Oops, sorry. Automated. Okay. So today, I will share my experience for this TED grants. Okay. Has been introduced this morning by the chairman. First of all, thank you for joining me today. Okay, so I am Amir Shahir bin Amir Hamzah. I am relatively still young and not so much experience, but I can say that as a researcher, I review a lot of manuscript, not a lot, probably more than hundreds. Okay. From biosensor and bioelectronics, sensor and actuator B, and Talanta. If you happen to be a researcher that is in biosensor field, you would, I think you would know this journal. These are very top journal. So I frequently review those manuscripts that is submitted in top journal. And often, okay, for MOSTI application, when it comes to technology that related to biosensor, I think they will refer to, they will invite me as a panel. So so far, several times, I've been in the panel for MOSTI for this grant. TED1 and TED2, okay. Not other grant. They have other grants, but I only been in the panel for TED1 and TED2. And a little bit disclaimer, okay. This is a sharing from my personal experience. Okay, MOSTI did not send me to talk about this. UPM did not send me to talk about this. So this is like a personal experience. You can. I think what you can benefit, okay, out of this session is you can see what is the panel's perspective. So this is very important because we have two different sort of party in the grant. I mean, including you three. Okay, so you are the applicant. Okay, we have the funder, in this case MOSTI, and we also have panels. These three are independent. Okay. You want a grant, mostly want to give grant to who is eligible or who is yang sepatutnya dapat. Okay, and the panel also independent. They also have their own judgment and so on, which is I would say quite independent from the funder as well. Okay, so this is, I think, very important perspective that we have to, that I can share with you. So before we go deeper, okay, it's also another disclaimer. So we have like before you set your application, you have to understand what you need to do, what you need to write, and so on. So this is before the application. This session is not about things that you have to do before the application, meaning that this is not the session that step by step from getting the grant to delivering your responsibility and so on. So this is not about before you apply. It is not also about after you get the grant, okay, how to achieve your KPI and so on, how to do the report and so on. No, but this is at the time of the application. Now you already ready to apply and you submit your application, you being called to an interview, because MOSTI don't have this screening stage. Okay, they have screening stage, but only for technical things, meaning that only for the official technical things. Okay, not the scientific of it. Okay, they don't the stage that they review the scientific of your application is at the time when you are being called for the interview, meaning for the presentation. So this is at the time of the application, at the time of the presentation. Okay, and well, the paradox is, which I stated here on the right, it is better to be lucky than smart. Okay, we know that most of our achievement is because we are lucky. I'm also I was lucky. I think I'm lucky. Okay, but lucky we cannot plan. Okay, it is only the being smart that we can plan. Okay, so we try to maximize our impact, and hopefully we're lucky and we can get the grant. Okay, so I will begin with my story. So this person on the right is Prof. Azir. Prof. Azir is our director of RMC. This at the time when he was not the before he is director of RMC. So I apply a lot of grant. Okay, many grant you can see on the left. Okay, probably you apply more than me. Okay, but this is what this is my application. In 2020, I applied probably 8 or something like that. Okay, and as an applicant, I probably also same as you. When any grant initiative open up, we sort of rush to it and we just want to grab. I mean, as much as we want, and hopefully we're lucky and we get the grant. So that is like not so smart strategy to need. So the person right, he is a very good I don't know, say a good friend or good mentor of me, or friendtor. Okay, he's very friendly. I am very proud if I can say he is my mentor. Okay, so so he teach me 3-4 things that I didn't pay attention, okay, in my application. Okay, so I will share with you, okay, these 3-4 points. Okay, so that and when I apply that 3-4 points that he taught me, I get a grant. Maybe also I got lucky and I got a grant. Okay, so point number 1 here is this is also the objective, one of the objectives of today's talk. I have 3 objectives. So this is one of it. For us to differentiate, okay, and appreciate more about the types of the TED initiatives, meaning that there are many initiatives and they are different. Okay, they are different. So we have to really understand what they are, okay, and what they are looking. Okay, what type of research that they're looking, what type of applicant, okay, what type of technology they are looking for. Okay, so we really have to understand that. Okay, so let's begin with that. Well, MOSTI, so this is from our policymaker. Okay, we have RMK 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, if you can read all of them, they are quite different from each other. Okay, and this is from the perspective of policymaker. Okay, so policymaker want us to do this and that, and it changed. It changed through the several RMKs. For example, I put it RMK 9 because I mean, person like me don't even know what IRPA is. Okay, because probably I'm not in the as a researcher yet. Okay, during that time. Okay, I have heard about Science Fund and Techno Fund, but I have no chance of applying that. Okay, and I've heard about the fund that on the RMK 11. Okay, I applied some, but was not successful. And also now we are at RMK 12. These are the 5+1 initiative of MOSTI. Okay, so if you look at the details of the RMK and what MOSTI has in, okay, for example, you look at 9. Okay, MOSTI want to develop the, okay, they have priority for biotechnology, ICT, agriculture. Okay, and fast track for commercialization and so on. Okay, if from the perspective of researcher, okay, if for example RMK 9 is finished, I thought, okay, we already achieved whatever we aim at RMK 9, but that is not usually the case. Sorry, that is not okay, usually the case. And if we go to RMK 10, okay, you see again biotechnology, ICT, okay, meaning that there's a chance in that. Okay, but when RMK 10 finish, not necessarily we are already up and good at that and so on. Okay, but one thing for sure. Okay, sorry, how do I erase this one? So, I think
right click, right click delete kan?
Right click delete tak boleh.
Right click.
Okay, tak apa. It's clear.
Okay.
The things that we can focus on. Okay. For example, meaning that the details ni is the chance yang that available. Okay. But we have to focus on, for example, if you compare 11 and 12. Okay. 11, they want to see a lot of innovation. Okay. You come with a lot of innovation, probably we have chance getting their grant. Okay. Now 12 is what is different, okay, between 11 and 12 is now 12 they want experimental development. So as a researcher, I think I like 12 more than 11 because that is our area. Okay, we want to develop it experimentally, probably because mostly realize that innovation just innovation only is not enough, and we have to sort of develop it from more basic things, meaning that we have to have a stronger basic, okay, before we come out with the product. So there are a lot of money in this area, okay, and you can see it especially on this 5 grant scheme, okay, and which is 2 of them, TED1 and TED2, we're going to talk about today. And this one, okay, I think you have seen this one. This like all over the is now all over the places. If you have not seen this, probably you can search in your email. They are somewhere in your email. Okay, I believe if you are a lecturer in any university, they will be somewhere in your email. So this slide, okay, you can see on the left is the science and technology drivers, and up on horizontally is socioeconomic driver. So these are, if you can find your spot at any of these dot, okay, you can apply for the MOSTI grant. Okay, for example, myself is probably bioscience and technology, the most bottom. And where do I go? Okay, I cannot take bioscience and technology to the area that is outside of this 10 socioeconomic driver. Okay, but I think this 10 socioeconomic driver is already broad enough. Okay, broad enough for me to put to tackle one of those. Okay, so if you happen to have on the left side, no, if you happen to have any of these S&T drivers, I think you are on a good track. Okay, so I don't know if you are doing 4D, 5D printing, okay, sensor technology. Okay, I'm doing sensor technology as well. So this is like a good chance, okay, for you. Just find your spot in this dot, okay, and you are good to go. Okay, so what we do, okay, is usually if you are a lecturer in any university, what we do with KPT grant, okay, usually we build some foundation of our technology, okay. So the framework is like this, okay. We have our technology, we study our technology, okay, from basic things. It's not so fundamental. Fundamental is not so good, I think, connotation for this one. Like KPT, they have fundamental FRGS, a fundamental research grant scheme. Okay, fundamental is something like if you do and you probably can win Nobel Prize, something like that. So basic research is, I think, is more correct term, okay, for that. Okay, you can see here, okay, basic research. This is what usually we are doing. We doing basic research for what? Basic research for our technology. So this is like optional for researcher. You can go deep into your basic research until you do the very fundamental work, and you probably after 10, 20 or 30 years win Nobel Prize. It's up to you. But the framework, one of the framework, again, is optional for you, is you do basic thing, you do basic research, okay, and at the end you produce a product that you can commercialize, then that product can be used or I mean, can benefit the community. Okay. Obviously, if you are doing research in black hole, for example, okay, very fundamental, okay, but this is not for you. I mean, this framework probably not for you, because I don't know if any product can be produced from black hole. So, so this is like optional, but this is the scheme, the framework, that if you are in this framework, there is chances for you for MOSTI grant, okay. And to differentiate a little bit, okay, so this basic research, okay, this basic research usually, not all, but usually funded by KPT, okay, this basic research. This one is also can be funded by KPT as well, because KPT also has the PRGS grant, but this one is funded by MOSTI, okay. You don't want to sell your product yet, okay, your product is not ready yet, okay. There's a lot to do in this area, okay, before the commercialization, okay. And you will see it here, okay. If you're not familiar with TRL, it's okay. I also not so familiar with TRL, but TRL is the technology readiness level, okay, from 1 to 9, meaning that if you reach 9, your product are pretty much ready to go to the market. Okay, this is like an ideal way. Okay, not necessarily happen to every product. Okay, but it is good framework that you can see if you are developing. Okay, if you are in this framework, okay, and you are developing a product, okay, you can probably put your product somewhere from 1 to 9, okay, somewhere from TRL 1 to TRL 9. Okay, now TED1, okay, is for TRL 2, 3, 4, okay, or 2, 3, sorry, and TED2, okay, is for TRL 4, 5, 6, meaning that for you to do that, okay, it's for you to do that. Not ready yet, it's okay, but we want to, we want to do that TRL 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, okay. But here TRL 1 is finished, it's done. So if you are step in the TED1, we have to prove that TRL1 is done. Okay, how? So this is part of the objective number 2, part of the things that we have to take care in our proposal, in our presentation. Okay, so how to prepare the presentation. Okay, sorry. So to prepare for your presentation, this is also I learned from Prof. Azay. Okay, you have to have cooperative team members. Okay, long gone the days where you can just put anybody in the team. Okay, you just want to use their name and so on. It is not so useful. Okay, you have to have a cooperative team member that have specific function in your team. Okay, meaning that as a team leader, you have to select, okay, the team members that has specific function, okay, and also complementing each other, okay. And the team members you have to know the team members very well. It is also good if you can prove you have been working with each other for quite some time, okay. And you know each other. Okay, one of an example is there is a presentation from one applicant, okay, team leader, okay. Obviously, team leader has to present, and the chairperson say, okay, you can present now. Okay, probably you can start by introducing your team members, and then the leader start to wait, I have to see my slide because I have to read their name from my slide. Also, so that signals to the panel, okay, that the team leader does not know the team members very well. Okay, so that is like you have to avoid that. Okay, so you have to know each other very well. Okay, you have to know what is their function in the team, and the function is best if complementing each other. And what I said before here, okay, TRL1 is done. Okay, is the core concept that you are using for your technology. You have to prove that it is done. Okay, whether it is your previous research and this is the outcome of the research, this is the publication, for example. Okay, so you have to have that proof. You have to sort of say this is the proof that TRL1 is done. Okay, this is the core concept is original, is novel, and it is, for example, published, and the better journal is it has been published, the better. Okay, and that is also academic proof for that. Okay, or if better if you have a social proof for that. I mean, this benefits some community, for example. This already benefited some community that potentially will be your future customer, for example. So come with that proof, okay? Because like for example, if I apply for PRGS, this is not MOSTI grant, this is KPT grant. If I apply for PRGS, the trick is, okay, you have to show that there is no optimization needed. There is no like I don't want to. I mean, I'm not so clear in this area, so we want to do some research in this area. That will not be accepted in PRGS, okay? Because we have to say that the research is done. This is our result. We just want to use that result and put it in a prototype. Okay, so use that same concept. Okay, the core concept is done. Okay, it is original, it is ours. Okay, it is published. Okay, and we just want to use that core concept. Okay, now we want to formulate it into some product. Okay, TRL2, or we want to prove the formulation. So these are two different things. Okay, TRL1 is basic principle. We have to show that it is done. TRL3, well, you do some experiment as well, but it is not to prove the basic principle. It is to prove your formulation. Okay, it is to prove the concept of the product. Okay, I hope you can see some difference in that. Okay, so and when you present, please remember, okay, that you are pitching. Okay, not just present like you want to present whatever you want. Okay, so when you pitch, okay, it is also useful if you can use some framework like hook, story, call to action, something like that. So at least you have some hook. Okay, now the hook is what I would say. If you view the panel as the panel are the experts, okay, in the field that you are applying, okay. So the hook is something like, if I'm in panel, okay, please tell me what I don't know. Okay, so if you can impress the panel like, oh, this thing that you said, I didn't know that thing before. Okay, so you have to sort of expect something like that. Okay, don't if we are I mean the lecturer, okay, don't present it like you are presenting to any student or something so you have to expect that they are the expert. Okay, although you are the expert of your technology, they're not. Okay, the panel not expert specifically in your technology, but you have to view it as they know a lot of things in your area as well, and this is probably things that they don't know. Okay, that will hook the panel. Okay, so and also what you have to pay attention here is, okay, they are slightly different between the funder aspiration, okay, and the panel's aspiration. Okay, what do I mean? Okay, funder might if you read the guideline, and you might see that your technology fit the guideline, so that's the funder aspiration. But the panel aspiration is more detailed. Okay, you can sort of in your application can prove your technology is original or novel, something like that, but is it really novel? So the panel will scrutinize on that things. For example, okay, some applicant do something like this. This technology has been used in other countries, but not yet being used in Malaysia. So in Malaysia, it is novel. Okay, but that is just not enough. Okay, you cannot just say that this is currently used in, for example, in China, in US, in Japan, but not in Malaysia. So we want to bring this technology. No, that's not enough to to prove the originality. Okay, and this is another example, second example. There's an applicant applying for technology to catch tiram, to catch tiram. This is agriculture for our nelayan, okay, to what happened to them? Sorry. Sorry, yeah. Stop sharing. Yeah. I will reshare again. Share. Okay. To technology to catch them. They usually do this technology in Australia and so on by vertical. I mean, they use this device vertically, but this applicant want to use it horizontally. He did some experiment and did find that horizontally is more efficient than vertically for the the way that they catch the tiram. Okay, so and they apply, okay, and not accepted because it is just they just put some something that used to be vertical to horizontal. Okay, I think the product is good. Okay, but now here, okay, applicant has to prove what is the scientific basis of that. Okay, you might be lucky enough to realize that is horizontal is you can catch more tiram than vertical style of that device. But why? Okay, so that goes to the TRL number 1 though. Okay, that goes to the core concept, the very basic concept. What basic concept that you use? Okay, so and also this is the difference between KPT and MOSTI grants. Okay, if you apply for KPT grant, you probably won't face the panel face to face. Okay, meaning that the panel cannot ask you. Okay, they have to really understand what you write your from your write ups. But MOSTI grants, you can face the panel face to face. So please prepare a very solid answer. Okay, this is one example. One example. A panel asks the applicant, okay, this device, okay, this device has happened to be a medical device, and the panel asks one of the applicant, which is also some doctors, okay, also in the group, okay, specialist doctor in the group, and the panel asks the specialist, if you the doctor and this is the device, what is from scale 1 to 10, okay, how likely you as a doctor will buy this device? And the doctor in the team didn't answer, okay, from scale 1 to 10, meaning that he or she answered a lot of things, what is different between this device and device and so on, but he didn't sort of project his confidence on that device. Okay, so that is to the panel. It's like if the doctor in the team did not have confidence in the device itself, okay, so why would any other doctor confident to use that device? Okay, so when being asked in the Q&A session, okay, in your pitching or in your presentation, you have to prepare a very solid answer. So this is like a key point lah, okay, here. And TED2 is basically more complex. Okay, what do I mean by that? Okay, now if TED1, you just have to prove that the very basic principle that you use is done, is solid, is basically or published. Okay, but in TED2, you have to to prove that the formulation is also done. Okay, you have to prove that this is now a solid device that has future solid device that can solve that specific problem that you are looking. Okay, so for example, okay, this at this stage, okay, they are, if you go to TRL, if you go to this one, okay, TRL 4 here, it is the border, the border. You can say you can do some validation, but it's also macam nak kata, you can also say you can it is better, okay, it's better that this validation is done as well. Okay, this validation is done, and when it's done, you have a solid data that validify your technology. Okay, sometimes, okay, applicant, they did the validation but not enough data, meaning that they do the validation with for example, if you have medical device, they do validation with 20 patients, for example, 20 patients. So it is like not enough. Okay, so because TED2 quantum is up to 3 million. Okay, you can apply to for the validation in real environment. Okay, for demonstration in real environment, meaning that for the validation is done. Okay, lab validation is done, and the validation has to have a good data. Okay, good data. So if you have a good data for your validation, and you can show it is statistically significant, okay, and the data is like enough, okay, so it is good to apply for TED2. Okay, so now in TED2, okay, for example, if I make some solution for cancer, so yes, I probably would present, okay, this is like the market value of cancer drug, or this is like the problem of cancer is very big, for example, but actually my technology solve what problem? I mean, you cannot solve all problem of cancer, okay? So you have to find or know your dot, okay? Where are you at? For example, if the circle is the market value, if I'm making biosensor, for example, market value for biosensor probably 20 billion globally, okay? And in that 20 billion, where specifically I can tap, okay? So I have to, okay, the blue part is, for example, detecting chemicals, okay? The red part is detecting proteins, for example, and I'm detecting heavy metals, for example. So this is like 1 billion, 1 over 20, okay, in the market. So you have to show that you really know the need, okay? Yeah. The problem you want to solve is big problem, it's okay, okay? But then go to the actual market. Go to the actual market, and it has to be specific. Okay, go to the actual need. So this is the N in NABC. NABC is N is needs and B is benefits. A is N is needs. A is approach. What is your approach to the needs? Okay. Probably you can explain also what is the difference of your approach, what is benefits of people that use your approach, okay, and who is your competitors. Usually we are very good in explaining our approach and the benefit of our approach. That's usually the case, okay, but we are not so good at explaining the needs, I mean the specific needs, okay. If this is typically what happen, if researcher presenting the needs, they will present like a very big needs, okay. Like I said, the needs for the market value for biosensor is 20 billion, so very big market. But where is the specific market? They didn't usually present. So the needs is very important, and also usually people fail to present the competitors. Okay, either they usually present that there is no competitor in this area, okay, which is usually not acceptable, okay, or the competitor is so big. For example, okay, if I make a new smartphone, okay, and my competitor is Apple, okay, it is just doesn't make sense lah in this application, okay, because your competitor is too big, okay. You have to go to um, uh, or I'm making an online selling platform. My competitor is Lazada. My competitor is Shopee, for example. So it is just not kata apa, suitable lah. Okay. So we have to kata apa, sharpen the expansion of our needs and also the competitor as well. All right. So another thing, okay, when we present, okay, this is from this book that I read, okay, The Right It, okay, from Alberto Savoia. He is the head of Google engineer. Okay, I learned a lot from this book. Okay, if I think one of the thing that we can if you, this is specifically if you applying for TED2, okay, because if you're applying for TED2, you have to know the market better. I mean, if you're applying to TED1, you probably it's okay you if you don't go there yet, okay, but if you're applying for TED2, it is very useful if you know the market well. So this is like the things that probably we can add value to ourselves is to read a lot a book like this, okay. So this the right it is the replacement for idea, so the right idea, okay, how to sort of pitch the right idea, because the law of the market is 90% of the idea will fail, okay, 90% of the idea will. So if you presenting some idea, okay, and you like so confident this idea will be successful and so on, and without noticing, okay, that 90% of idea will fail, I think we are in our thought land, okay. In our thought land, we know that we are producing good things, okay, and everybody want good things, and everybody will buy our product, okay. So this is like opposing the law of the market. The law of market is 90% of the idea will fail even with a competent execution. Okay, now competent execution is on our side. Okay, we have to prove, we have to signal to the panel that we are competent. We can execute it competently, very competently. Okay, that is our part. Even, okay, we are competent, 90% of the idea will fail. Okay, so why 90% of the idea will fail? Because we have to test the market. Why people don't want to, I mean, why most people don't use Yahoo, for example? Why people do use Google? It is like you have to test the consumer behavior, the market, how the market behave. Okay, so step number one, you have to really know who needs you. Who needs you? Who needs this technology? For example, previously there is an applicant to be they want it, the applicant want to apply for a device that can produce pure water, okay, out of so the device can produce clean water out of not so clean water, like you can use like air from banjir and whatever source, and that device can produce clean water. So that is like a cool device, okay. But do they, yang orang yang menghadapi banjir tu, need that device? Okay, probably don't. They just wait for any help that can provide them clean mineral water, and they drink from that water. probably they don't need that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm just making this up. But they have to take that device to the actual market and test if they would like to use that device. So you have to test the idea, okay? And if you find your ideal client, I mean your ideal customer, what are their biggest worries? What are their biggest stresses? Okay, and where do you come to solve their problem? Okay. Another thing is we probably good to present our problem statement, but what is our solution statement? Okay, the solution statement is like something like I help blah 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 overcoming blah 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 without blah blah blah. Okay, that is sort of like a typical solution statement. So we have to also ready with our solution statement. Okay, what are the problem that we solve? Okay, now some of other tools that we can use is to use this XYZ hypothesis. Okay, this is also useful, particularly if you are applying for TED2. Okay, the XYZ hypothesis. So in the picture is it's me and also the former Minister of Water, Soil, and everything, energy, and so on. So this is a tool that probably you can use, the XYZ hypothesis. X is like how many people that you approach. Y is how many percent of that people you approach doing Z. So Z is something like, I don't know, probably buy or use your device. Okay, so you can use this XYZ. For example, in my case, I developed biosensor. Okay, biosensor. So I approach 100 researcher, okay, in UPM, for example. Okay, from 100 researcher in UPM that I approach, that is my X, okay, Y percent, which is my hypothesis probably 20%, okay, will buy the device, which is probably I put the device at 500 ringgit, for example. Okay, so if I approach 100 and it happened 25%, 25%, okay, agree to buy, okay, agree to buy, and they pre-order my device, for example. So that is like very good, okay, and the hypothesis is very good lah, okay. So Z is has to buy or to use, okay, and you probably ask, so where do I get my device? I don't even develop the prototype or that. Well, kata apa, I might not yet develop my prototype, but I can develop my prototype. Okay, now prototype is a lot simpler than prototype. Okay, prototype is something like it's just for the market testing. I don't need to prototype is like a lot simpler and a lot cheaper. Okay, and we just have to show that it works. Okay, okay. Adakah the researcher still interested? Okay, so if you do the prototyping and you can prove that more than 20% accept your technology, and they pre-order, for example, okay, you put it 500 ringgit and they pre-ordered. So this is like a very good data, okay, that we can, before we present our TED2 presentation. Okay. Okay, objective number 3. Objective number 3 is to know the nitty-gritty of the evaluation process. Okay, probably. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so this is like the marking scheme. Okay, the marking scheme for TED1. For TED1 and TED2. You can see the formulasi konsep, keunikan, kebolehpasaran, keboleh laksanaan objektif, okay, which is SMART. Well, SMART you can put it in words, okay. You have specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time based, and so on. You can put it in word in an application. It's okay. I think everybody can do this, but during the presentation, you have to use the NABC, okay? Because the panel has to understand who really needs this technology, okay? And also, and other things, you can see. Kesesuaian metodologi, for example, adakah disokong melalui kajian asal data saintifik, okay? Pematuhan standard, okay? This is also important point, and kesesuaian perancangan. On the commercialization side, so this is on technical side, okay. On commercialization side for TED1, you can see these points are all in the guidelines, in the guideline form. You can also you can see kelebihan persaingan, okay, potensi permintaan pasaran, kelestarian, strategi pasaran, okay. Diffusion, teknologi mencadangkan persesuaian dengan situasi semasa, and cost effective. I think if you realize, okay, most of the point in the marking scheme ni, okay, I explained in the past apa ni, I mean I just has explained it to you, okay. So these 2 points, these 2 part, okay, there are other part as well. There are another 2 part, but these 2 part are the biggest. Okay, these 2 combined will make it 70% of the mark. Okay, 70% of the marks. But it is useful to take care of each of the point, because you know, you can get good marks, okay, but okay, well, actually, to get pass or fail is more important, okay, because it doesn't matter if you get good marks, but if you fail, and it's fail lah, okay. For example, for example, if MOSTI set the passing mark at 70, okay, if you get good marks, 69 still fail, okay. So really want to know what marks get you past the line too is more important. For example, okay, we have to prove that the technology is disruptive, game changer. So these are the keywords that we cannot run from these 2, TED1 and TED2. Okay, you see now point number 2 on TED1 and technical TED1, okay, and also point number 2 on technical TED2, game changer, disruptive technology. So we have to prove that this technology is game changer. How? Just example, okay, I just making this up, okay. For example, you are in a racing car business, okay. People are so much focusing in the engine, okay, optimizing engine and so on, but actually they didn't focus on the tire, okay. Now, if you improve the tire, you will improve 70% of the speed, for example, but people didn't realize. Okay? Instead of focusing on engine, you focus on the tire, and now you are in the game changer. You are in the using a game changer technology, meaning that now people will start to focus on the tire rather than the engine. Okay, so game changer is really important. Okay, and also the second point is, if you can see the point number 5 on technical, okay, at the TED1, disokong melalui kajian asal dan data saintifik, meaning that novelty of this project, okay, novelty of this technology is also very important. Okay, for the commercialization part, okay, I think like I said in the previous slide, we have to really prove that this one has a good potential market. Okay, so that is like I think point number 3 that will get you past this. I mean, if you get 70%, doesn't matter. Okay, if you don't get 90%, it doesn't matter because you already passed. You will get the grant. Okay, so take care of these important points, and also if you have take care of this important point, you can take care of the rest because you also don't want to lose as much. Okay, some other practices that might be useful for you. Okay, you have to present, provide. Not present is also okay. You get ready with some solid data. You have to expect the panel's questions. Okay, this is also useful for you to prepare as a team and rehearse. Okay, probably you can call any independent panel to like just do the rehearsal. Okay, and you probably can see what are the perspective on the other people's sides. Okay, what usually happen when the presentation started. Okay, it is usually I don't know. I sort of like can detect that they didn't do the rehearsal. Okay, they didn't prepare as much. They kata apa overdue the timing. For example, they present it very lengthy and so on. So that means that they didn't do your rehearsal. So I think that is also useful. Okay. So as conclusion, okay, what we covered so far is 3 points. Okay, what are TED1 and TED2 for? What to take care, important point to take care during your pitching or presentation session, and how the evaluation is done. Okay, so thank you so much for today. If you need further probably you can contact me. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, PM Amir. Actually, I've got questions actually in the chat panels. Okay, so we'll probably go for the chat panels. Questions. This from Hanafi. He asks, is it necessary, compulsory to have patent from this grant, or can we have patent from other related project to claim as a patent for this TED1?
Not necessarily you have patent, but you can have some proof. Okay, publication is also okay. I mean, not necessarily to have a patent. Is that okay?
Okay.
And also sometimes when you if you patented is or if you have the IP of the trade secret, okay, sometimes you don't want to reveal for to the panel. I think this is not so good practice. If you have because panel has signed NDA, meaning that we won't disclose any secret technology that you discuss. Okay, you have to discuss all. Like for example, in previous session, some applicant they said like we cannot reveal to you this algorithm because it is in our trade secret. So panels there also somebody that know some machine learning and so on. So he said this is like something that if you want us to evaluate, you have to reveal it. Okay, so even if it is your trade secret. Okay.
Okay, second question. He asks again, if we develop our own life cycle analysis calculator research outcome from TED1, can we feel it as patent, or we need it to explain in details the invention, process, and novelty?
Meaning that you already get the TED1 and then life cycle analysis calculator. Filing.
The outcome from TED1. Yeah.
Yes, you can. You can file as a patent. Yes, of course. Yeah. you need to, however, explain the details of the invention. The panel has to, okay. This is something that is kata apa? Usually the case. Okay, you prove the novelty via your either you file the patent or you do some patent search. Okay, you can say like we've done the patent search. It is not yet in any patent. We also file a patent. Okay, then it is okay. Okay, but you have to also explain to the panel why this is novel. Okay, so the proving that you have the patent is just not enough for the panel to gauge that your technology is novel. So it's sort of like you have to present again in your during your I don't know if in UPM when we want to file a patent we have some presentation to prove our novelty. You prove that again. I mean you explain it again. Okay.
Okay, and then question from Prof. Lai. He asks, does TED2 funding cover for purchase of expensive equipment for analysis?
Sorry, Prof. I think that one should be referred to the guideline. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But
And
the
then,
detail is in the guideline.
okay. So another question for Prof. Lai also asks, does TED2 cover for human clinical trials?
Yes.
Okay.
It will cover to the clinical trial.
Okay. From Mefliza, how about the publication? Should be in Q1, Q2?
Okay. Again, like I presented previously. I said this is not a session for how to deliver your KPI and so on. I have no information for that.
Okay. And then from Mansoor, he asked, how about conference paper? Is it can be used as a proof of publication? Conference
It
paper?
can be used. It can be used. A good proof is like if you have published that concept in a very good journal. That's a good proof. Okay, but usually we don't get our publication that high. Okay, but it's okay. But please try to prove to the panel that this is a good concept. This is a solid concept. This is undisputable concept. So something like that. Okay. So these are two things. Okay, the proof and also the presentation. So if the proof is not, if the proof is like nature publication, then you don't have to explain much. Okay. If the proof is like any other publication, you have to explain really well why this is a good concept. Okay. So I hope that answered the question.
Okay. Then from Farida, asked in the marking scheme of TED1, technical point 7, what is a suitable timeline for TED1?
Suitable timeline. I think they give like 2 years or 3 years.
Okay, 2 to 3 years, right?
Yeah. But it has to be referred back to the guideline. The guideline you can download in the from MOSTI website. If you contact me, I can also give you the guideline PDF.
Okay, for Nuhanis asked about what is the KPI actually for TED1 and TED2?
Not sure.
Is it varied? I mean, like, it depends on the type of project, is it? Based on your experience?
Okay. Sorry. If you look at this, okay, before you get the grant, okay, you just have to if TED1, okay, if TED1, you have to prove this one, TRL1. If TED2, okay, or probably this also as well, okay, meaning that you have to prove this one. This is like the border. I don't want to speak much about the border, okay, but for TED2, okay, if you can prove that you are at TRL4, meaning that done, okay, you want the grant for the activity in 5 and 6, you are on the right track. Okay, so I assume that this will be the KPI. Okay, I assume for if you are applying for TED2, you want to validate in real environment, real passion, for example. Okay, so you want to demonstrate in real passion, real environment. Okay.
Okay. I did share the link actually for the MOSTI Malaysia Grand Challenge. So I think participants also can have a look on the guideline given there. And then another question asks, can we use allocation to hire a research officer from Siti Fatimah?
Yes.
Can,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Okay. From Huang asks about if the concept is so good, should we patent it first before publication? In that case, patent should be a must for both TED1 and TED2. Is it this correct, the interpretation?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. So, like I said, you have two things now: proof and also your explanation about the proof. So, if you have the proof and the proof is very good, not so much explanation needed. But if you don't have this proof, it's also okay. Okay, you explain it, meaning that if it is like in the pipeline, in the patent filing and or manuscript submission, for example, just explain it. Okay, if the panel can accept, then that will be okay.
Okay. Then from Muhammad Salahuddin, he asks, besides collaboration with startup company, is it at my advantage if I collaborate with the top 10 rank university, for example?
I would say advantage for TED1, but not so advantage for TED2. Because TED1 does not require you even collaborate with startup. Okay, TED2 requires to collaborate with startup, but instead of find collaboration from university, you find a good startup, because the commercial panel will really look at who you collaborate with for TED2. Meaning that if you collaborate with startup that has no sort of good history, that would be not so good position. Okay, so instead of finding a collaborator from top ranked university, find a good startup to collaborate with you.
Okay, another question from Ayar Anwar asks about, do we need to have a collaboration with the industry or any research institute or university for TED1? How about TED2?
TED1, no. TED2, yes. TED2 with industry, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, from Dr. Khairi. Let's say I'm not academician or research officer but from startup company. How should I prove that our tech is novel?
Okay. I think to prove that your tech is novel is not via the publication only. Okay, you can explain, like I said before. Okay, if the panel accept that your technology is novel and game changer and so on, it's okay. Okay, it will be okay. But okay, I would recommend for any startup want to apply this for TED1 or TED2 to collaborate with any expert in the field, which is usually academician or researcher, because the technical panel will ask the scientific basis of that. Okay, so I would assume if you are a company, you do not know so much about the scientific basis of that. I mean, meaning that you have the technology works, it is already in the market, for example, it's sold a little bit, okay, it's proven, but can you explain the scientific basis of that? If you cannot, you better find some collaboration with the some researcher.
Okay, question from Lian Swan asks, I would like to ask, does the grant support the salary of a company's employee?
Not sure. Sorry, I'm not sure for
I
that.
need to check in the guidelines, I guess, yeah. Yeah, the guidelines is given there. Okay, so Pierre Amir, based on the evaluation, right? I mean, how many stages of evaluations actually until they can announce whether it's success or not?
Yeah, for TED1 and TED2, the evaluation is done during the official evaluation. Of course, it has some stages, meaning that after you pass the presentation stage, it has meaning that the panel only recommend. Okay, so the decision is made by some board meeting. Okay, so it has some stage, but I can sort of say if usually if the panel recommends, you will get the grant.
Okay.
So it's only one stage. Okay.
Okay.
The presentation stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one submission, you have a pool of panel who gonna review it, and then this panel actually is I mean, they don't call the applicant to come and present, right? I mean, straight away evaluation by
They will
offline
call.
lah for
They
the
will call.
panels. Oh, they calls.
No,
Okay.
they will. So far they call all the applicant that pass the technical guideline.
Oh, okay. Okay, so they will check first
So they
technical
call.
guideline, I mean the first layer of filtering,
Yeah.
and then the shortlist will be
Yes.
called for the presentation. Okay, and then the
Once
decision will
pass,
be given as it.
once pass the presentation, most probably you will get the grant.
Okay.
However, as so far, I can tell you, 90% will not pass.
Okay.
So far, this is the data so far. 90%.
This means the success rate is about 10% only, right? So far.
Success rate is about 10%. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So it's quite a challenging also for the success rates. Right. Okay. Okay. Irano asks, how long does it take actually for the whole process to until it's approved? I mean, like 2-3 months, or how long?
Probably longer than 2-3 months. Well, we can say like half a year, probably 4 months to 6 months, maybe.
Okay. Because when I read the guideline, actually they said quarterly they will do the evaluation. So I mean, like there's no deadline for this grant actually. You can apply, but if you miss the cycle, they will bring to another cycles. So roughly 1 year, maybe like twice the cycles, or as far as you remember.
I keep receiving the invitation, so I don't see any cycle.
Okay, I mean once they got applicant, then they straight away do for the evaluation.
Something like that.
Okay.
Something like that.
All right. Okay. Another question now from Muhammad Salahuddin asks, is letter of acceptance enough for collaboration, or any advice for other documents to strengthen the applications?
Yes, enough. Letter of enough, but it is like I said. In the previous slide, we have to have a feeling that the collaborator is really a collaborator. Okay, so at the time of application, LOA is enough. Okay, but during the presentation, the collaborator has to be a real collaborator.
Okay. He needs to be there. I mean, the person needs to be there for the presentation.
He needs to be there. Okay. He needs also to understand that technology as well, and he needs to understand what is their part and so on.
Okay. All right. Okay, and then question for Associate Prof. Dr. Lim asks, any advice for the bridging fund, BGF? Have you gone through that before?
Unfortunately, no.
No, okay. So you're mostly on TED1 and TED2, huh? Okay.
Yeah. But if TED1, if you are so good, if this technology is so good, the panel is so convinced in TED1, they can recommend a fast track to TED2.
Okay.
And you will get TED1, and after finishing TED1, you will get TED2.
Okay. I mean, that's based on panel recommendation in a way.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So for the company, right, for the collaboration, any specific that they have put for the company? I mean, like the revenue, everything, is that play a role for that company in order to be in the? Okay.
Yeah. It has to be a suitable company. It has to be a good company, I would say.
Right. Okay, that's at the moment from the chat panel. But in case any participant, in case you would like to ask orally, I think probably you can just unmute yourself, and then they can ask questions. Any more questions? Yeah.
Hello, Dr. T.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, my name is my name is Raja. Just nak tanya, do we need to follow that 10 by punya framework? Is kalau macam CP boleh apply tak?
For example,
Yalah, if you look at that 10 by 10 dia nampak lebih kepada related to
Yeah.
iPhone 0 kan. So dia macam
Yes. Yeah.
yalah, kalau kita punya invention ataupun innovation kita tak pergi ke arah iPhone 0 tapi dia ada enhancement of that particular that field. So itulah saya tanya tadi tu, kalau dia CP macam mana? Ke memang totally memang 100% must follow this 10 by 10?
I think yes, you have to follow this 10 by 10. Any dots in this 10 by 10 is okay. I think the screening, this is one of the thing that they will screen in the first stage, meaning that if you are out of this 10 by 10, probably you will not be called for the presentation.
Okay, faham.
Okay. Right. Okay, we have one more question now. From Siti Fatimah asks, how is collaborator responsible for consultation aspect based on industrial specification? Is it okay or not?
I'm not sure if I understand the question.
Okay.
Which is,
say, how if collaborator responsible for consultation aspect only based on the
I see.
yeah.
Possible. I think possible. But macam mana kata? The collaborator, it is useful if the collaborator is there, and what consultation too can be sort of justified or can be asked by the panel during the presentation.
Okay. Another question for IR Anwar asks, earlier you said about 10% is successful rate. Maybe you can share some of the issues of the application, if not confidential. What are the normal common thing mistakes, I guess, in the applications? Perhaps some issues that can be raised. Yeah.
Sorry, I tried to sort of explain some of the issue during my presentation. Probably was not so clear. Okay, but usually this the proof of basic principle ni is okay. This one is I also advise MOSTI to sort of bukanlah improve, maknanya to change a little bit on their template slide, okay, because they do not pay much attention on the basic principles or basic concept, okay, when the template of the slide to being given to the applicant, okay. But for the panel really want to sort of see that part, so I think they give one slide for that. So most of the time applicant simply explain, okay, the basic principles or the basic concept or the core concept, okay. Probably you can enhance that part, okay. So the part of the core concept too, you make it like 3 or 4 slides for that rather than just one. So and I also advise mostly to change this template. I don't know if they take any action.
Okay, you mean some of the guidelines, maybe they can revise a bit?
They will give you they will give you a template for your presentation. Usually applicants just follow the template.
Okay.
So it is okay to follow the template if you just provide one slide for the core concept. It's okay, but when panel asks about the core concept, you better have prepared other slides lah to help explain
the backup lah, the backup information.
Yeah, the backup. Yes.
I think the way they conduct perhaps same like PRGS, where they also provide a same slide also.
Yes.
You need
also,
to follow, right?
Also, when you want to present for patent filing, for example,
yeah,
they give the template of the slides, but when I come to the panel for patent filing, they just ask me, okay, Dr. Amir, can you just explain what is it, the novelty?
Okay.
It's like the template is not so useful.
Okay.
So itulah, maknanya we have to understand the panel aspiration lah.
Okay. Alright. We have one more question here from Lian Swan. He asked, is it strong enough for the applying company to collaborate with another company instead of a research institute?
Yes, of course. Yeah. It's strong enough, but make sure you get that scientific basis too done. Okay, you make sure you can explain all the scientific basis of that.
Okay. All right. And the question for Mama Haris, as a project leader, how many project that we can apply or lead? I mean, they can submit more than one applications normally.
Not sure.
So probably have to check on guidelines, all right.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, I didn't come through that kind of I don't know, because you apply online unless the system already locked in case you already submit one. Not so sure about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes,
That's the thing. Yeah. For everyone information, actually, all these grant have to apply via online. You have to open an account as eDana, I think. Yeah, eDana for you to include the information inside. Okay. And
Yes.
normally RMC was asked to give some recommendation or some comment on the proposal. And then you can submit it to the MOSTI. Okay. All right. Still, we have time for question and answer. Everyone, feel free to ask orally in case you have any more questions. Yeah. I did share the link for MGC, so you can see there. Okay. All right. And I want to ask again, can you share what kind of the panels involved in the presentation? I mean,
Okay.
it's a composition of industrial or...
Yeah. Usually they have technical panel. I usually sit on the technical panel chair. So technical panel, they have commercialization panel, commercial panel. And they also have another one with technical expertise or commercial expertise.
Okay. Do you have a panel for industry also? Do they call that a panel for industry? Okay.
Yeah, panel for industry. Yeah, they call from industry.
Okay. So we do understand it's quite a rigorous evaluation also at the MOSTI level. Okay.
I think so.
Right. Okay, everyone. I think that's from the chat panel. Everyone free to ask. You can unmute yourself in case you have any more questions regarding the process of TED1 and TED2. Yeah. And actually under MGC we have many types of grant actually under MOSTI. Okay, like the one that Dr. Lim asked earlier about the BGF, and they also have a COVID grant. Okay.
Yeah.
Any more question for the participants? Okay, Lula, everyone seems quite well versed about the the profession. Okay. Yeah. Any further questions? So currently, so far, the project already been approved, right? Is there any some sort like way they give for MOSTI, since we have now in the pandemic situation, right? It might have all this issue of to go travels, everything. Is there any consideration on that in MOSTI level? Based on the current situation for them to start the project. Yeah.
Traveling to start the project. I'm not sure for that. But I think they can consider. I would not see that as a big issue. I think they can consider. Yeah.
So, like in terms of the progress of the project, right? Is it they're gonna invite a panel also to review the progress, or is it just until the MOSTI level only? I mean, like the progress of the project, right? Do they call the same panel to review the progress, or how does it work?
I think no. Not. I'm not sure.
So panel only involved at the evaluation at the moment, Okay.
Yeah, I just involved in the evaluation. Yeah.
Okay. All right. One question here from Lok. Okay. One question from Lok here. Can we apply TED2 without going to TED1?
Of course. Yeah, you can. Some of the technology is already in whatever TRL you are. You can apply for any suitable grant. Okay. It is not necessarily you have to go TED1 first and to TED2. Yeah.
I mean, there's no prerequisite actually. Is the way proposals. Okay.
I think most teachers want to get the technology going.
Yeah, correct. And for everyone information, actually, MOSTI did a roadshow actually by region. But perhaps the information depends. The information I know for the Southern they did like somewhere in April last time in the webinar. Okay, and then some in the East region, and then they actually send the invitation to all RMC actually. Okay, so maybe everyone can have a look can check with the RMC also about the roadshow of MOSTI. Okay, we still have one more question here from Nurhanis. Okay, Dr. Khairi, Dr. Khairi asked first. Okay, when the application being rejected, did the panels give explanation of the rejection?
Yes. The panel will give explanation about the rejection. And okay, this is one that probably applicant do not know. Okay, actually, if panel give if your application being rejected, and you can you see the recommendation by the panel, the reason of rejection and so on, you can reapply actually. Okay, our team got one of the grant that I was as the collaborator. Okay, we get it approved on our second application, meaning that because there's no like timeline for the application. It's not like apa ni KPT grant kan. If FRGS for example open once a year or twice a year, if rejected, well, you wait for another year. This is like, if rejected, you can reapply. Just take care of the point that is commented and you reapply.
I mean, revise back the application based on the comment and try to submit again. Okay.
Yeah.
I think at MOSTI level, perhaps that one they give a consideration like FRGS or PRGS. If they notice a recycles proposal being used again, basically they will reject at the beginning. That's the thing. So also I think, you need to revise. So I don't mean that exactly same proposal that you submit over and over again in a way. I think that's also apply for FRGS and PRGS also. They notice that if you keep recycling the same proposal, they will reject at the first place. Okay. All right, from Nuhanis, mentioned here, very close connection with industrial collaborator is only important for TED2 application or TED1 as well?
Okay, TED1, if you don't have any industrial collaborator, is okay. Okay, don't have any, okay. You have some collaborator, better, it's good. Okay, but there is no prerequisite for industrial partner for TED1. Okay, TED2 is a must. Okay, in TED2, please find a very good industrial partner that can play a suitable role for your application.
Okay. All right. Okay, one question for Dr. Nohidayah. For strategi pasaran atau model perniagaan of TED1, how that it should be?
As long as it can convince the commercial panel, I think.
I mean, does it you give to get you have to show like the long term kind of thing? I mean, like the projection and so on. Is it that kind of way?
You have to show some. Show some. It's not like because you cannot like present because we are just in TRL1, we don't have this data. No, it is better you have done some, even it's in that one.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
So, I have one more question.
Yes, go ahead, Pak Raja.
Boleh Dr. Amir a little bit detail regarding about the definition of TRL 567. Dia macam dia macam degree kat situ kan.
If you are in clinical trial, okay, I think this TRL 5, okay, but if you are demonstrating in real macam mana kata if you can see 5 and 6, dia adalah both are in real environment. Okay, one is validation. Validation maknanya you have to prove any validation, lab validation or validation in real environment. You have to prove the sensitivity, the selectivity, the false negative, false positive, the statistical significance. Okay, you have to any validation have to you have to have that data. And 5 is validation, meaning that you in a sort of kata apa, bukan macam probably is accurate, probably is not accurate. 5 is like you don't try to sell it yet. Okay, 6 is you try to sell some, and you can see some percentage of the customer willing to buy the product. So probably something like that. I'm not sure if I answering the I answered the question.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Pian Raja. Any other questions? Okay, we have one more from Dr. Kari. Okay. From your experience, what is the level expectation from commercialization panels? For example, for market survey, how many participants that can be qualified? It's enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is kata macam ni, this is like the weakness lah for researcher. Okay, is that we don't understand market very well, but the commercialization panel understand market very much. So we have to really look at this in very detail lah. Maksudnya kata apa, if you have done market survey, this is a real survey. I mean, it's you ask apa ni, maksudnya it is not like benda yang dibuat olok-olok lah, because commercialization panel ni is really will scrutinize on the potential of the product, whether or not it can be commercialized. So I think, for example, if you use the XYZ hypothesis, it's very good data that you can show your survey form ke, for example, maksudnya bukan show in the presentation. I mean, you can get ready, prepared what the question that you ask in survey ke, apa ke, who you ask, who answered, and so on.
Okay. Like for presentation, right? How long does it take actually? Presentation to the panels normally? They ask you to prepare.
Is 30 minutes.
30 minutes, eh?
Yeah. But usually presenter present more than that. So it's just show the panel. It is they didn't do do the rehearsal and so on.
Okay. All right. Okay, I think Pian Juzaila got question, eh? Pian Juzaila, is it?
Yes, saya.
Okay, go ahead, yeah.
Terima kasih Dr. Ami nak sharing. Just nak tanya, is it a wise move to apply TED1 instead of TED2? Because sometimes the TRL levels we are not sure about. I mean, sometimes we feel that our TRL is about 4 and 5, but the interpretations between, I mean, probably me or the panels tu mungkin berbeza-beza. So I think, in your experience, do you think it's a wise move to apply TED1 instead of TED2 or in this case?
Yeah, I think realistically speaking, the most suitable for researcher like me, because we are usually in the lab and so on, is TED1.
Okay, thank you.
However, TED1 ni quantum dia is sikit lah, is up to 1 million. So TED2 is higher lah, up to 3 million.
Okay, terima kasih.
Okay, thank you, Pian Juzaila. All right, question for Adibah here. Is it a bonus if we present BMC business model canvas to the panel for our innovation?
Yes, it's nice to because I think commercialization panel will appreciate that.
Okay. All right, any more questions? Yeah, everyone. We'll start to gear up right now. Fact. Yeah, any other question for our participants? I think that's all for the chat panels at the moment.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah, I guess, I think that's probably the final question that we get for today, I guess. Yeah. Right. So in that case, on behalf of Center for Research and Innovation Management, UTEM, we would like to thank Prof. Madya, Dr. Amir, for very valuables and also informative sharing actually about this MGC TED1 TED2, and actually just released last year if I'm not wrong it's last year. Okay, and everyone can check on the MOSTI website actually for more details. I think there's about 9 programs under this MGC. So PMA is involved for the TED1 and TED2, okay, with the guideline. Or I heard somebody want to ask question? No, okay, all right, okay. So before I conclude our event for today, any closing remarks from PMA? Yeah.
I hope we really get our proposal prepared. I also am preparing for my proposal, okay, and crush the panel during your presentation. Okay.
Okay.
All the best.
Okay, all right. Okay, so you're also applying. Okay, so everyone's worked together for this. All right. So thank you very much to Prof. Madya, Dr. Amir Shahir for the wonderful talk for this morning. Okay, and also willing to accept our invitation to share for this sharing session. Okay, so and thank you to all participants. I think not just from UTM, also for other university as well. So professor and so for the director, some of the RMC coming. Thank you very much to join our program. Okay. So for more details for our upcoming webinars, can always check for our Facebook page, okay, and also for our Twitter. So we post over there. All right. So on behalf of CRIM, I thank again PMA and so to the all participants, and we hope to see you again for our next webinar session. Thank you very much, everyone. See you again. Thank you and
Thank you
stay
so
safe.
much. Assalamualaikum.
Thank
Stay
you,
safe, everyone.
PMA.